Welcome to Tailgate Talk. I'm Shaun Ritter, at The Real Ritter. You want to find me on socials. Paul Wagner and my man Eric Tasker to join here in just a little bit. You want to follow the show. It is at On The Tailgate, Twitter, Instagram. Would love to hear your thoughts, especially as we get the show started this week with an article that I came across and I've kind of been hanging on to for a week or two, just trying to kind of process things and think about everything that I'm about to explain to you. If you are someone that hunts out of state, as in you're a non-resident hunter. I know Wags does a lot of hunting in both Illinois and Kansas. I do fishing a lot of times out of state of things. And Wyoming just passed a law that may start being the footprint or the roadmap of other states, especially on the West. And I hate to jump as far as to say it, but I feel like perhaps the thought and idea of non-resident hunting may not be a thing in the not-too-distant future. All right? If you haven't heard about this, if you've ever had dreams or thoughts of hunting out west, maybe you haven't done it. You thought, oh, it would be great to go out on an elk hunt or a mule deer hunt or something like that. It's something a lot of people do each and every year. I mean, Journal Sentinel Sports Show, we're just there, and there's all kinds of outfitters from all over the country and the world with all these hunts and things like that. Well, basically, Wyoming is saying that they want to protect those outfitters. It's my feeling based on this House Bill 43. So it was a couple weeks ago, Governor Mark Gordon of Wyoming signed this into law. So basically, the bill changes tag allocations for non-resident hunters. So I'm going to read through some things on this article to kind of break it down to you to just how devastating this is to anyone that's a non-resident hunter. So the 90-10 allocation, or the Wyoming Big Five, as they call it, changes things like bighorn sheep. Okay, 25% of the tags allocated would go to non-resident hunters. That's only going to be 10% now. All right, so species moose, Rocky Mountain goat, bison, they're all reducing from 20% down to 10%. So you're losing half of the chances of tags. They broke this down, for instance, Area 2. A very popular sheep area in Wyoming, currently has a tag quota of 20 sheep tags. Last year, it took 22 preference points to draw for a non-resident hunter with one of the 5 resident tags that were allocated to that. Then there was a random draw for other one. Okay, 22 points. Basically, that's 22 years of putting in, collecting preference points to even have a chance at that. On the new system, instead of 5 non-residents getting it, there are only going to be 2 non-resident tags available. So if you start thinking about that, Area 2 right now, as of this new law going in, will take 53 preference points and could be more. 53 years of collecting preference points before you even have a shot at drawing one of these tags. Okay, now I know that's sheep. You're looking at, we're not talking about elk. We're not talking about mule deer. But it is going to change to those animals as well. It's not just the big ones. The big ones are the ones, obviously were hard to get anyway. When you're talking 20 years of collecting preference points to even draw a tag, that's a lot. But some of these units, elk, you may have to collect 7, 8 preference points to have a chance at drawing as a non-resident in some of these states out west. Moose, there's 44 tags in this one unit that they were looking at. That's going to be going down to 36. I'm trying to quick skim through this as I'm looking here, but really what it comes down to, the outfitters are going to be able to get more tags. So basically saying, like, if there's 200 elk tags that are going out, so they want to cut those down, right? So that resident hunters have better chances and will get their tags first. But as far as non-residents go, if you want to do one of these hunts, instead of putting in preference points and collecting and trying to draw and do your DIY hunts, you're almost going to have to go through an outfitter in order to hunt out west. So again, when I said that non-resident hunting was going to go away, I mean, as a DIYer is kind of the way that I've read this and been looking through things. All right, so I'll break this down as far as this 90-10 law when it comes to deer, elk, and antelope out in the state of Wyoming. All right, there's still a long way to go and some really large hurdles that they need to get negotiated out with this, but really it comes down to financial repercussions of changing this alone. So Wyoming Game and Fish Department, of the total $80 million budget, non-resident hunters and fishermen account for about 60% of that revenue. All right, so this change could cut the department's revenue by 30 to 40%. You stop putting in for preference points because you're just not going to have a shot at getting any of these. That's going to hurt them in the long run. So a cut of this magnitude, they say, could be pretty much unsustainable. Not to mention the fact that I'm sure there's going to be lawsuits and things that come about with this. In fact, the game department there has already looked at getting lawyers and everything to figure this whole thing out. There's apparently about 11,000 point holders in the system. Just looking at the big five, using those numbers, it would take 651 years to fulfill every sheep applicant and 315 years to fulfill every moose applicant that's in the system before they have a chance to get drawn at a tag. It's completely unsustainable. And if you were to figure that the odds are that stacked against you, obviously you're going to probably stop applying. I've put in preference points for antelope and for elk out in Wyoming and hoped and planned in the next coming years to make a trip out west and do a DIY for either antelope or elk or a combination of the two on like a week hunt, which I know is a very popular thing to do. But what about the preference holders that have those points in now that are going to be like, whoa, you've changed this, so I want out, and trying to sue them for wanting their money back for preference points that they've been purchasing that they'll never be able to cash in on. Like, I would love my money back of putting in $70 to $100. Bottom line is, it's just something I wanted to bring up because it's something to think about going forward as other states may follow suit. Washington, Montana, Idaho, all these big states out west that a lot of people go to. Because Colorado has already said they're following Wyoming's lead on this. And they've been known to be one of the most non-resident hunter-friendly states as far as drawing tags. I mean, you typically could just go out to Colorado and, buy over-the-counter elk tag. They're actually already looking to get rid of that completely. So you would have to be, point system have to get it in draw tags in Colorado. No longer would you be able to just walk in and buy over-the-counter. So it's going to be interesting to see where this whole thing shakes out. But, the state of Wyoming taking the first step with that 90-10 rule. I'll post something on our socials. You want to check more into it. It's quite crazy stuff if you haven't seen this at all yet. But things afoot, things changing if you want to go out west hunting. So now that we got that passed, we're going to roll in and actually get into the show. Turkey hunting, that's coming up soon here in the state of Wisconsin. I know ice pretty much out. We're getting boats out on waters. I know we talked to my boy Brian Keller, who runs Head-to-Head Fishing last year. They've had a big tournament that happened this past week. Obviously, I've been big into following the Bass Elite guys and the tournaments they've been doing. So fishing's here. Definitely with open water. And Tailgate Talk brought to you by our friends at Buck Rub Outfitters, located in Pewaukee, just off of Silvernail Road. They've got 3 awesome courses. Great place to host parties, whether it's, work gatherings, birthday parties, whatnot. You can actually rent little bows. I've seen a lot of the kids groups go out there and do some shooting. Of course, they've got all the top brands, awesome accessories, a great staff there, an awesome pro shop. Buck Rub Archery, you can look them up online at buckrubarchery.com. It's Ritter, joined in studio by Eric Tasker and Paul Wagner, a.k.a. Wags and Tasker. It's just awesome to be back together, to be hanging out. Really, that's kind of what the outdoors is about. And I know we've talked about before, like I say, as I've gotten older, I've enjoyed different aspects of it more, like even what the outdoors and what the camaraderie is changes.
It's I'm starting to enjoy it more as I get older. You enjoy the outdoors, and the kill of the hunt isn't necessarily the main thing. It's the thrill of the hunt,
right?
And it's
getting out there.
Yeah,
that's what we talked about last week.
I love that you bring that point up because this is something that I've talked about for a while, and I feel like in any outdoorsman, there's different stages that you go through. So when you first start getting into hunting or fishing, whatever it is, or something, it's always about then you're in the accumulation phase. You're learning, but as soon as you start getting a grasp of things, then you get into the accumulation. That's when it's all about the numbers. I have to kill something every time, or I have to catch the most fish, or I have to, and you get in this race of this accumulation, and a lot of times racing against other people. I'm better if and then as you slowly change and transition out of that, you start leaning into it's more fun to just be out. And then you can even transition into exactly what you said, Wags. It's more fun to watch other people.
Yes.
I can't tell you how that's exactly where I've gotten years ago with duck hunting and taking some guys out and doing some diver duck hunts that we've always done. I have more fun watching other people crush divers that don't hunt divers like we do or haven't had those opportunities. I have more fun watching those people do it than me actually ever doing it. And fishing. Taking guys out ice fishing. I'd rather just set everything up. Okay, there.
I had to find it. I had to find the phone. It's called the funky chicken. It's called the funky chicken.
So just
okay.
Sorry.
Back to the birds. I'm sorry.
Taking people out, setting everything up, and standing back and letting them fish and watching them fish. A lot of times I'll run ice fishing situation, doing tip ups. I love the iFish Pros. So it's basically a tip up, but it's a rod built into it. They take the line, flag goes up, you run and fight it with the rod. I love setting those up, and because anyone can do that. A regular tip up, it does take a little skill to kind of get the fish hooked and know when to, set it and things like that. But a rod and reel, You just close the bail and tighten up, and I run circle hooks. Boom, they're set, good to go. Yeah. So just let anybody go out and do that. You want to come fish with me? And okay, well, it's your fish. Run out to it and grab it, and have them catch decent fish. I had a buddy out a couple years ago, caught a huge pike, and I just was tickled to just watch him fight this pike through the ice, and I'm like, damn, this is what it's about.
Pull up to the hole, you can see his face. He's all lit up and excited. Yeah,
you go through these phases, and it's
it's
cool. I think that the final phase, I don't know, maybe there's another phase, but I'm right there with you. It's more fun watching other people. I mean, I want to catch some stuff and I want to go kill a turkey, but I enjoy watching other people succeed and have fun with that too.
I've always felt that way too. I just even think, especially as my dad is starting to get older, my uncles that I've hunted with forever are starting to get older. I've been the last 2 years, I've seen more deer than my dad has. And we're not that far apart from one another. We're like maybe 200 yards apart from one another. And, for me, it's always, I want him to be able to see the deer because I'm okay with sitting out here and not doing anything. But for him, I know he doesn't have that many more years. And not that he's not going to hunt in like 2 years, but he doesn't have as many years left to be able to experience these things as I do. So I want him to be able to shoot the bucks, shoot the, whatever targets that we're after. I want him to be able to do that. I love that.
And tell you the story, and then when you come up, hey, come on, Eric, get over here.
Right.
We got something. And he's going to tell you how we got it. And then you're going to follow blood, and he's going to be leading.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of neat. Like you said, if you got a younger or an older person following their blood, and you can kind of just step back and watch it and go, this is pretty damn cool.
It's pretty cool. That's what it's all about. Everybody wants to get to that final stage and like that part of the hunt. But, it's just giving those opportunities and having the other people that you're with. You come back to camp, and that's what everybody talks about. Yep. And I totally agree with you on that, though. And it's not like I've even been doing it for that long. It's just that's what I really enjoy out of this whole thing, and having that camaraderie, which we always talk about. We brought that up multiple times. But, I totally agree with you on that.
Camaraderie. That's the whole reason we all do this, right?
Right.
It's exactly what we're doing right now. BS and telling stories. The only way it gets better is if I'm not drinking coffee and we're up drinking some sort of bourbon or a beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never during, always after.
Right.
Speaking of that, though, I was telling a story to some people the other day about being up in Canada. We were talking about, I think we were doing a Facebook Live thing on my normal country morning show. We do it every day. We do like a half hour on Facebook while we're live on the air. And something about boating or being on a boat. I don't remember exactly how it came up, but someone commented something about like drinking on a boat. And I was like, fun fact, I actually don't drink while I'm out fishing on a boat. And I told the story about being up in Canada at Ballards, fishing with, Gary and those guys up there. I think it was the first year that I did a come-along trip up to Ballards, and these two guys came up. So the night before everybody heads out, we kind of have like a whole orientation period. So we get together, talk about boats, talk about gear, talk about game plan, talk about rules, kind of just set the stage for what the week's going to look like, what it's like fishing up there. And in Ontario, it's illegal to have alcohol on board of a boat.
Oh.
Well.
But not in Wisconsin?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's still like drunk driving rules.
Right.
But like you can't even have alcohol on a boat up in Canada. Drunk driving is a felony in Canada. So rules just different up there. And so all the guys heard something about, I don't know if it was the next morning or during, it was like, okay, well, before we head out to the boats, you can grab a cooler, pack it with some ice, whatever you need to get you through the morning and get you through the day, whatever. They filled this like little lunch pail cooler full of beers. And they're out there just kicking back, just sucking on beers, doing things. So finally one of the guys rolls up and was like, that's incredibly illegal. We're going to have to call this quits. The coolers, yes, you can fill the coolers with water, soda, other beverages, beer.
That's what was going to get them through the day.
We're going to have to call this quits.
Completely. And then the same person comments, remind me never to go to Canada, which I'm like, no, that's growing up, it was always that way. Beer was around things, and early in my days, when I was 21, grab a couple, 6-pack, and we're going to head out fishing, whatever. I don't know where it changed for me. It was when I started bass fishing and getting, you're not bringing beers on a boat, for a tournament. You get done with an 8-hour day, that's the best thing. As soon as you get the boats up on the trailer, you're all standing around the boat BSing, and someone cracks someone a cooler. Hey, anyone need a beer? And you all stand around and have a beer and shoot the bull and tell the stories about, all the fish that you thought you should have had, how you swear you hooked a 7-pounder over there off that, wall. And, that's, the camaraderie and the fun. That's where I like the beers, not actually while I'm, partaking, so to speak.
Yeah, the stories afterwards.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, absolutely. It is. It's fun, and that's what it's about. But I still want. It's easy to talk about it, and when you have fish in your freezer, turkey breasts, and a nice deer already getting ready for the, when you got the tenderloins and the inners and the back straps cut up, and then you can watch someone else because I still love and enjoy everything about the game. I love eating it. We enjoy that, but you're right. Now all of a sudden it's getting okay. I can feed my belly, but now I want to see other people enjoy themselves too.
Fun fact: I have no wild game in my freezer right now. No, I'm trying to think. Even fish, I have like a snapper and a redfish.
You have no venison in there?
I have no venison. I have no venison in my freezer right now. I have no fish that I've caught in my freezer right now.
Really?
I've eaten everything.
That's good too.
Fall can't come soon enough.
Well, that's just it. I've got to get out and actually like fish or hunt or do something more. My fishing attempts through the ice were not. I had a horrible ice season. I mean, even in some of my gimmies, I'm still. I don't know. Did I get too confident? Is what I'm starting to wonder, because like there's one specific area on one specific lake that, I mean, it was a gimme. I could go out there. I could spend 2 hours, pluck from spot to spot, kind of hole hop around. I could catch 10 decent-sized bluegills. Bam, I got a nice little bluegill fry, and I'm set to go. And I, would take my 6, 8, whatever that I'm not going to go for the full 10 and call it a day. This winter, I freaking struggled. I couldn't get on anything that was worth keeping out there. It was the struggle bus. Rolling through the fall, chasing after steelhead.
The struggle bus.
I could not seem to frickin' catch a steelhead. I had a guy next to me, a couple times, and I don't know what it is.
Well, you guys were both down there, weren't you? You went down there too.
Yeah, not together.
Oh,
I
you
went
didn't go
down
together.
separately.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I went just a couple weeks ago. So I went down to one of the spots you told me about.
Did you? You hit one of my spots there?
Yeah, but I didn't catch anything. I had one that was splashing around out there, but boy, I was really looking forward to breaking out the old smoker for the first time this year and putting some salmon on there, but that didn't pan out.
It was really funny too. You mentioned that of one of those spots. Did you go to the one that was in? I'll keep referencing my YouTube. Was it in the second episode that I put up there? The secret downtown steelhead.
Yes.
Okay. If you watch back that episode, and I recently was watching, in one of the spots you can see a fish literally jump behind me.
Oh, really?
And I thought to myself in the moment, I was like, how did I not notice that while I was actually there? But then I go back and watch the film. The damn thing jumps like right next to me. Yeah. So I couldn't even like have it like, and I cast out the wrong direction. So I'm doing my 45s, cast and, running the float and floating it by. I didn't even let it float far enough back to where that one must have been sitting in that hole and just came up and grabbed something.
Yeah.
And I watched back and I was like,
that's frustrating.
Damn it. Like, that's the point. Like, I'm there. I'm right there. I'm in spots. Fish are there. Like, I half know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's how I felt, though, because I was there for maybe 20 minutes or so, and then I saw it splash, and it was kind of pooling at the top, and I tried to keep getting it right there, and I must have cast it over it, downstream or upstream, let it swim down that way, and it never even...
That's why it's called fishing.
Yeah.
That's a great spot, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a great spot. It's because it's like you'd never know that you're in the heart of a freaking downtown metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And you're able to, brown trout and steelhead fish. It's really cool. I'm glad that I came across. I don't mention like it's a secret spot. I don't think it's really secret. I mean, people know that it's there, but
you don't advertise it because I wasn't invited to go.
No, we all just went on our own accord. So
hey, we got stuff on the smoker. Do you have anything to add? No, you didn't let me go.
Yeah, we'll have to do that as we start catching some stuff this year. We're gonna have to have a big cookout and whatever they call it, a beast feast.
What wild game feed or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, and with turkey season upon us, we'd probably talk a little bit about that sort of coming. I know, Wags, you got some awesome new calls from terminal game calls they set you up with. Maybe we'll chat on that bit.
Can I jump topics real quick just because I was thinking about water and stuff?
Totally. Jump to
You are up there all the time. Why is Lake Winnebago and the Winnebago system shallow with water? It's a big topic. It's coming across that whole report, the Bago reports. Everybody's worried about it. Now, if you could just clarify one thing. Up in Neenah, there's a dam.
Yep.
The dam needs to be opened to let the water out, or it needs to be closed to let water in?
Well, water there will run from Winnebago north.
Oh, it will run north?
Yeah, think about it. That's the Fox River. And the Fox River runs out into the Bay of Green Bay. The Bay of... Fun fact here. Glad you brought it up. The Fox River... And what other river in the world are the only two rivers that flow north?
Oh, I know that one. Is it in the United States?
No.
Okay.
It's in South America.
Then I don't know.
The Nile.
Really?
I was going to say that. That was the only
Is it
one
what I
that came to
know?
mind.
I thought it was a trick question because I played in Three Rivers Stadium, so I know those three rivers. I'm like, oh, no, what are those names?
The Nile and the Fox River both run north. So, yeah, the Dam of Nina is running from Winnebago northward. You know, the Fox River flows north out to the Bay of Green Bay.
So that would be, then you would need that dam shut.
You'd want the dam shut.
So it must be open now?
It must be of things. That whole Winnebago system, it fluctuates up and down so much. And
does the water can it fill rapidly? I mean, I don't know that. Like, if they decide to do something, will it be in
snowfall? Snowfall plays a huge part into, the dam. Any situation where you open and close dams and stuff like that and how much is there. I know we actually got more snow here and more stuff than they did up north this year, especially across the Fox Valley region there. So maybe that has something to do with water levels being low and it fluctuates back and forth. I know as far as the Bay of Green Bay, the water is up huge from where it was, but that had to do with there was a dredging situation in Lake Erie, which, again, Great Lakes, they all connect. You wouldn't think one lake, how many lakes away can mess everything up. There's a dredging situation the Army Corps of Engineers was working on that it wasn't right, and it caused the levels in the Bay of Green Bay and Lake Michigan to drop. So then they fixed that along with all the snowfall we had the last couple of years. Like, there's a spot up in the Door County, just south of Sturgeon Bay, that I spent so much time diver duck hunting. And we had, an amazing shore spot. Well, shore we'll call it. It was actually like a very small little island because of the way the water levels would drop. This little kind of rock bar built up and some trees and stuff started growing on this little spot, and you could wade across. The water was waist deep, so you could walk from shore, wade across this waist deep, and get on this island. So you just get yourself out there just a little bit, and then it was a slow slope from there, so we could run all of our decoys out and stuff. It was a freaking awesome duck hunt. That was the one where we'd go out there and just hammer them up day after day, and had so much fun through the years. It's all gone. Yeah. It doesn't even exist. The water's up so high now. Just everything is desolate. Yeah, there's nothing on it. You can't even see it. You don't even if I know where that rock bar is, but if you were running in a boat, you could easily hit it. You'd never know that it's there if you're that close to shore anyway. Without having that's how the water could fluctuate in and around the Bay of Green Bay, and Winnebago would be the same thing. It'll go up and down a couple feet.
Yeah.
That's such a shallow freaking lake. Was it 26 feet is max depth?
I think that even might be generous.
Yeah, and that's at like high water, 26 feet. So it's a giant contact lens.
Yeah,
it's literally shaped like a giant contact lens.
Isn't that crazy though? Because you think about what a substantial piece of water that is inland for the state of Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. You look at the map, and that's like the first thing you see.
The average depth is 8 feet. 8 feet is the average depth of Lake Winnebago.
And that's crazy. Yeah, and with that shallow water, man, when the weather changes.
Yeah.
That can be a killer. That's like Edmund Fitzgerald stuff. Winnebago can get pretty nasty.
I think we touched on that here on this show, even of how fast that body of water can change.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Within a matter of 10 minutes, one wind swing, and you are in a whole lot of trouble out there. Yeah. Speaking of Lake Winnebago, I saw somebody talking about something. I don't know where it was online, but talking about the walleye fishery there. And worrying about, what that looks like, of, how it's down, it's this and that, and, kind of point blame at I'll call them the Joe Six-Packs, the guy, the accumulators, the guys that got to go out there day after day and just pound it and keep everything that, it says 12 inches, I'm keeping 12 inches. Oh, there's no size limit, I'm keeping that. It says I can keep 5 a day, I'm going to keep, and how that's kind of hurting the system. I'm curious if there's any actual research to that, and it'll be interesting to see where things shake out. Do you think, though, in this day and age, what we know about just general conservation and different lakes that have tried things, slots? I've been a huge slot person forever. That's how I have always lived. To me, a walleye, I'm only keeping walleyes between 14 and 17. If it's over 17, bye. In unpopular opinion of me, that's just how I am. When I've kept, bass, whoa, I said a dirty word. Oh, my gosh. By the way, black and smallmouth is fantastic. It basically may as well be a grouper. But it's not often, but every now and then it's like, I'm like, I'm going to snag me this 14-inch smallmouth. That's it. Anything, not going to keep, but it's like one. Are you surprised that we haven't just like statewide gone to a slot for like all species instead of just general, each lake having their own if they want to add a slot?
Yeah, I think that's interesting because you really have to be sure about all of the different bodies of waters that you're on. You always need to make sure, not that you don't think about that ahead of time, but with the restrictions and the regulations that change from different places that you're going, you need to be smart about that too. Mm-hmm. And so I will say that I kept my big walleye because I have it mounted on the wall. But that was a unique situation. And when we do our Erie trip, we're catching our limit. We're getting off the lake.
And that's
whatever that is.
Completely different situation.
Yeah.
A trophy, a one trophy to mount thing. Like, I'm never gonna and I don't ever mean to make it sound like I'm bagging on someone for not believing or not doing things the way that I do. Each their own. But I feel like there's a lot of research there that it actually helps. Like, I was so excited when one of the lakes that I fished that has northern in it, they were like, you could only keep 2, but they had to be over 32 inches. And I'm like, you know how many 25s, 26s you can catch there? Yeah. Those are the better eaters anyway. Slot that baby. And now, just this last year, they've changed to an 18 to 32 slot.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with, the lake's up north. So I'm up in the Sugar Camp, Eagle River area. Mm-hmm. You know what? Depending on the Indian harvest. So they were always done with that. So they're spearing. I was on Indian Lake up there, right between Eagle River and Highway 17, right out of Rhinelander and Sugar Camp. And, it depended. So then all of a sudden they threw a slot limit at the boat launch, but it wasn't determined until numbers were put in and these many fish got speared here, this Vilas County, this Oneida County. This is how we did it. So I guess if you just automatically go to a universal, but again, there's certain rules for certain individuals and there's certain rules so it's kind of hard to determine. And I guess you can only go by the numbers that are taken. What's the harvest off of this lake? And then DNR earns their money and figures out what can be taken.
It's just crazy. I remember growing up fishing. It was just, this species was, there was panfish. It was 25 panfish all accumulated together. Bass had to be, 14 inches. You could keep 5 or, 2 here. Northern pike, there was no limit. Or in the south, it was 2. So you remembered everything. And now, every lake has its own different stuff. You literally have to have the regs or look at the regulations before you go to anywhere. And that's where I'm like, is there a point where we just decide, let's make this easy again and just put in a standard? Yeah. This is the way it is across the state, or at least across the north and across the south.
But I've seen them posted differently. They're different posts at every public boat launch.
That's what I'm saying.
So you're right. You have to check if it's not a universal or statewide. Yeah.
Yeah, because and it's hard to even say that, similar to with some of the other territories that they do, like Wolf Hunt or, counties even or whatever. The bodies of waters that touch in different areas, they can all be so different. So it would be hard to just layer that out. My question is how accurate do you think those reportings actually are for their estimates on fish? And that seems like it's always a mystery to me, in that they're just kind of doing a sample size and generalizing that to the entire bodies of water for wherever they're measuring those. You guys know any more about that? That's always such a mystery to me.
I don't know how those numbers are, but I've actually seen them where the booms come out and they electrocute.
Shocking.
I've seen that. But you're right. So if I'm coming in this little area, who's to say that, we only got 4 walleyes out of this area, 8 to 12 inches. We got 1 walleye, 23 inches. Who's to say that 3 didn't run away? But how else can you do it? You got to say if I would say correction, is it 100%? No. Sure. Is it maybe 60, 70%? I would say, yeah.
It's like the duck counts. When they do the duck counts in South Dakota, and into Canada every year, or out west trying to count, how many
antelope.
Antelope or mountain goats. You know what I mean? There's a margin of error that they work in. I believe in science, so if scientists all get together and they figure the averages and this and that, and they figure out all their equations and figure, if I count this and put it into this equation, it pumps out this. I don't know. I guess I put more stock into that than some people.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what I'm saying. I feel like after this long and there's enough research out there, they've kind of figured it out and they've
got to be pretty
perfect.
Close.
Yeah, that's just it. Nothing's perfect, but you're somewhat close and can make an educated guesstimate.
Yes.
Well, no disrespect to weathermen, but you know what? weatherman too. Sometimes you turn on the news and old Robbie walks up and he tells you what it's going to be tomorrow, and then you come out and it's raining instead of on the boat. So there's some signs. I think you're right. I think that's the best way they can do it. Is it 100% no? Is anything really 100% no? But exactly, it gives us a fair count. Lets them know where they need to put their funds and how to use the fishery monies for here and where to stock. But yes, it's crazy.
Nothing's perfect. Like Wags pulling up and being able to shoot his bow in the range, and then when he actually gets a turkey in front of him, not being able to hit it.
Yeah, should have been doing the sit-down shots like you were.
And I laughed at him. I laughed, but underneath, I'm like, this is I'm practicing the way I'm probably going to be.
I remember you grabbed a stool. So I think as soon as you saw me sit on the ground, you're like, what the? And then you reached over and grabbed a stool, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should.
I should, and I didn't. And I didn't do it. I'm like, and then he's thumping turkeys. He's thumping birds. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, that's got me. No big deal. Boom, boom. First thing I thought about that.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. What did I learn from doing that? I learned you have to be conscious. Like on a stool, you're sitting on a stool, everything's pretty controlled, but branches, you have to be aware of where everything is. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. When I sat and wasn't paying attention, I pulled up and I was focused on my target and didn't realize that I'd kind of put my knee up to make myself more comfortable.
Yeah.
And what did I do? Limb my bow, smack the knee.
That's right.
And now I will never do that. I'm going to be conscious before I draw back of any branches, limbs, including my own limbs, of where they are, that doesn't happen. So, well, I hope you get a turkey one of your next seasons.
Yes.
You're not going to pass up on a big Jake, I'm sure, next time it walks in front of you.
You'll get one.
Well, yeah, of course you will. He's got those new terminal game calls from Zach and Pat, who got them all set up. TerminalGameCalls.com. They've got slates and glass over slate and mouth calls and all kinds of stuff. So you should definitely be getting a turkey, no doubt, this year, Wags.
And then, again, it won't be. But if I get one, I'll let you know for sure.
I can always just bring my bow right here and wait for the turkeys
to
walk
Is he still
across
coming
the field
by?
and try and plug one of these.
Yeah, I keep seeing all those birds flying around out there. I keep thinking it's going to be a turkey that's walking up.
They haven't got as close as a couple of weeks ago. They were just outside this window of the studio. Last week, though, when you weren't here, Wags, Tasker and I were in and doing our thing. One of them just walked right across at the grass line.
Really?
But,
Tom or a hen?
It was a Jake. And that's 40 yards. I can pop out the door next to the studio here and pluck it, I'm sure. I think it's frowned upon in
I think it is too, but
especially under radio towers. I feel like there's something that might not be good about that.
I did see one. If you saw one of the pictures I sent you, one of my Toms had a smaller beard. So I asked around, and maybe I didn't tell you this or I didn't talk to you about it. He wasn't a Jake. And the guy that I talked to, it was a Germantown guy, told me that sometimes during the winter through ice and stuff, it's called beard rot.
Mm-hmm.
And he was walking with, and I was looking and I'm like, maybe he had a bigger one pinned. Maybe was that him? And no, it wasn't. It was short, but not a Jake. He was about a 4 or 5 incher. And then he was walking with a nice one. And I made sure that he wasn't the double bearder. They were both walking together. And I'm like, why would this guy, not a younger one? And he told me that, I don't know exactly, but it's probably a situation of beard rot. And I'd never heard that before. Mm-hmm. Ice freezes it or.
Yeah.
Well,
my buddy that shot that bird was talking about earlier yesterday, he had sent me a picture too of the tail fan. He's like, do you know why this would be like this? Like, it's all beautiful. But then as you open up the fan there are 2 middle feathers towards the back. They were almost getting white V's, white stripes in it. I told him it's just like any species. I think it's just the graying. It's an older bird, much like we gray as we get older, or any species. Like, think of geese. They get the gray eyebrow. Really old goose. You ever seen one that they literally have it looks like a unibrow right across their forehead?
Yeah. Those
are the older big Canadas. They'll get the gray eyebrow. Mm-hmm. And I pointed out, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I mean, all species go through that graying. So you just, when the turkey's puffed up, you don't see it, but it was kind of hidden right toward, really where it touches his butt, essentially. That's where it's starting to turn, grayish. I never put that. Common. Yeah, it makes sense 100%. I never, the aging process of animals and graying, I never thought of that. Like that goose, I've seen that before, but I didn't. Okay, he's a 5-year-old. What does his band say? Oh, he was banded in 2010. Oh, really? Well, I don't have that. So I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of neat. I didn't. I never thought of it that way. But it makes common sense. Yeah, I show you the picture. You can get a look at it and see.
Oh yeah.
See how everything else is the brown around, but it's just getting some of those white.
That's cool. That's all that really character neat. Too.
Yeah.
Did he fan them out? Put the salt on them and.
I'm sure that's what Jason's going to be doing with it. So yeah, it's been. I love talking with him because birders. We talk about different outdoor hobbies and different outdoor things. Birding became huge during the pandemic too. I mean, Jason's been doing it for years. He's been a big bird photographer, but a lot more people are getting into it. But it's fun to talk to those people. If you know someone that's a birder and into birding specifically, ducks, geese, turkeys, things. Those are some of the most useful people that you can talk to. You can learn so much because they're literally observing these birds day after day.
Yep.
And just bring up the whitehead thing. That's all stuff that he had picked up just from watching these birds and taking pictures of them and stuff for weeks on end. So there's the little nugget of advice.
Good.
If you know a birder, don't look at someone who's like posting and talking about doing birding and be like, oh, and just like take pictures of birds. Those are the people that you need to be talking to because they've got the real intel. You don't know crap compared to them. So.
All right.
That's where we're going to end it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, Tailgate Talk. Make sure you follow us on our socials, on the Tailgate. I'm at The Real Ritter, at ET5504 for Tasker, Tasker Wags. I'm Shaun Ritter. We'll catch you next week.